Well, welcome to the George Rockall-Schmidt Show on an extra special short podcast today because neither Damien nor myself can be bothered, which is exactly why we chose Maximum
Overdrive. And I know what you're all thinking. What has changed? You don't want to make the effort today?
This is the only podcast where you are sure there will be zero call to action. We don't even ask you to tune in next week. Right?
In fact, it's preferable. We want to bury this shit as soon as possible.
We're contractually obliged to go to 50. Contractually with who? Globalists. Goblins. No.
Get that through your head.
VW, I imagine. I imagine they are pretty non-fucking merciful when it comes to breaking contracts.
We're talking Volkswagen, right?
Yes.
Okay, no. You're in with a bad crowd.
Yeah, right. Fucking fudging emission tests and everything.
So that's the first thing you picked up as you were furiously typing in Volkswagen there as you were talking. Got to have something to say.
I do have something to say, but I didn't want to make it so obvious. If I just come out with a story, Damien, people would be like, this is a bit too polished.
Yeah, I was going for a segue, a bit of polish, a bit of veneer.
Well,
you spoiled it.
I used to know an American guy who lived in Mexico and would occasionally translate things for the local Mexican government. And Volkswagen, VW, were considering building a massive car plant there, or car parts plant there, because there's a lot of VWs. So they got this American to translate from German. He knew German, English, and Spanish, so they wanted him to translate. So he got there on behalf of the local government, and the local government, whatever he was, the president of the tiny region was there. The German guy from Volkswagen was there, and the German guy, because he's a German guy, also spoke English and Spanish. He said at the beginning of the meeting, I speak Spanish, so we can all speak Spanish if you want. And the president of the town, or it's not really a town, it's more like an area. What? Where you laughing?
Duke.
The Duke.
The Lord.
There's like 100,000 fucking presidents in Mexico. I'm the president of the street, people say, I imagine. With their little fucking straw piñatas on the way to what's the Mexican word? Abuelo.
Calier.
Yeah. Bullo.
From the street to the street.
The president said, oh, great, okay, whatever you want, Mr. VW man. He says to the translator, tell him exactly what I say to you. Not what I say, but what I say to you. And the translator's like, yeah, but he just spoke to you in Spanish, right? He can understand you. And the president says, don't worry about it. They get into it, and the VW guy says, will you be able to provide us with this much electricity, and will you be able to tarmac a new road and all of this? And they can't do it because they've got no money. And the president says to the translator, oh, we can't do that. No way could we do that. We don't have any money. Tell him yes. And the German is like stood there with his fucking hands. This isn't a lie. This actually happened. The German guy stood there with his hands on his hips saying, I can understand Spanish and speak Spanish. I understand what you just said. And the president just laughs and just says, yeah. Tell him we can do anything he wants. That's fucking
laugh it off.
That's fucking true. And that was years ago. They didn't build their fucking factory there. Oh well, yeah. It wasn't a very interesting story. Sorry, but
it's fine. I mean, I'll forgive you, but I'm not sure. Will the internet be so forgiving?
Probably not.
Yeah, if they ever pay attention to this, which I don't imagine they will. So I think we're off the hook, man. We're off the hook.
Okay. George Rockall-Schmidt, protected by his own obscurity. That is how they get these people, though, isn't it? It's whenever you hear someone coming to national attention because of some stupid tweet or something like that, it's always something they tweeted 5 years ago.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. When they could get away with that kind of shit. They didn't think they were ever going to be held to a higher standard, so you say all kinds of shit.
That's what you would do, even if you didn't mean it. You just think, I'm not going to ever be held to some sort of higher standard, so I think you'll find that it was the Jews. The Jews killed Nicole and the other one. All this stuff about the Jews. What did you hear the first time, racist?
Oh, fucking hell. I am one with my shame and humiliation.
So
Maximum Overdrive.
I think let's start off with a positive, Damien. This is what the podcast is all about, I guess. Peace and love.
It's a movie.
Great title. Maximum Overdrive is over the third hurdle.
Yeah, but
Video game Shabanza has stumbled in the fourth.
Yeah, but all right, so that's a fair
Logan
point. But I
Fetid
think
is coming up the rear.
septic pus bucket on the outside, septic pus bucket.
Rogue thrown beer can. Oh, he's a non-starter.
And we're into the final furlong.
If I had a racehorse, I'd call it non-starter. Maximum Overdrive. Say something nice about Maximum
Overdrive.
Good shot of Emilio Estevez.
That one shot. You know the one I'm talking about. Moving on.
All right, well, okay. Let's just explain what Maximum Overdrive is, because I'm sure most people don't know, because it seems very obscure and should be obscure because it's completely unremarkable. I mean, it is. It's not especially bad, but it is kind of fun.
Yeah, one of the things that that got me when I was looking for this is that it was listed as a horror comedy, and I thought it was just
a comedy.
A homida. And I thought it was just a straight B movie, so I kind of went into it because it was the first time I'd seen it. I mean, I'd heard of it. I was familiar with the title and bits of the premise. And bits, I think, is the best way to kind of describe it.
Can you think of any horror comedies that deliver? I suppose the obvious one people would say would be Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I would have said that, but I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of that.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, it is definitely a horror comedy, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's very clear what that is, and it's in what they set out, and they definitely achieved that. I mean, the rest is up to personal taste.
Sure.
Which it falls short, in my opinion, but...
No, I think you're absolutely right, because I did not hate this movie, Maximum Overdrive. Like I say, it's not very good, but it's not remarkably bad or anything, but I would struggle to define it, because it's not funny. You're constantly reminded, these people are trapped in a petrol station surrounded by trucks. That have come alive.
That are slowly driving around them.
And there's no peril because they have like a what would it be called, a law, I guess, wouldn't it? A light anti-tank weapon. They have that bazooka thing.
Yeah, it's just a machine gun on what is essentially a glorified wheelbarrow, right?
I didn't mean that. I meant the bazooka. They have a bazooka.
Oh, of course, yeah.
They have one of the trucks that has come alive, and we haven't explained this, right? So
that's what I was about to say. There's like no good order in which to explain what goes on, right? I thought I was really interested with the first opening sequence, right? Because the premise essentially is just like machines come to life because of a comet with loads of radiation. It's just flooded the atmosphere with radiation, and machines come to life, and they make humans their bitch. All right, okay, I was familiar with that. Mm-hmm. And then, like, with the first shot, you've got traffic piling up on this bridge. What would you call those bridges that kind of open up in the middle?
An opening bridge.
An opening bridge, a motorized opening bridge, a battery-operated bridge. And so...
it's a drawbridge.
So, yeah, a drawbridge. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
A vertically retractable road bridge. Because I know in America they have those for the interests of alleviating congestion. They never quite close, so you've always got to do a running jump.
Many lives have been lost on those fucking things,
especially by cyclists.
Good, as far as I'm concerned.
Seems fine, but remember, the last 100 yards, that's all uphill. You only say that because you can't cycle.
That's right. I can't cycle. I don't have toes.
I can't cycle.
I tried once the better part of 16 years ago, and it didn't work out, so I promptly gave up. And I stand by my decision.
Okay.
So yeah,
I mean, in fairness to you, it's something that's only embarrassing for part of your life, isn't it? You know, it's kind of like, you can't cycle. How are you going to get around when you're 15? But when you're 30, if you're going everywhere by bike, it's not that cool anyway.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you have a car? You're an adult now.
I mean, I bicycle.
Oh.
But only because I don't have a horse. I don't go anywhere. I just like to ride around and pretend I'm on a very small horse.
So I purchased
in the middle of the night.
I've got a sedan chair, but I don't have the help to kind of shuttle me around. But it sits there outside my apartment, gathering dust. But one day it will fulfill its use.
I mean, how many people would you kind of realistically need on the sedan chair? Would it be 2 or 4?
Well, I imagine
would it be 8?
Well, no, you just got two. One front, one back.
All this is staying in.
Oh yeah, no, it's the harrowing human drama that is my life. You know,
Yeah.
it's real. It's authentic. That's what they lap up on the YouTubes. You see.
I like that the first main thing that we see that's come alive, because the premise of this movie is machines come alive. The first thing we see is a drawbridge that was built in the 50s or something. So it's not going to be computerized even. It's a mechanical drawbridge, and that's the premise of the movie. The movie is anything mechanical is alive,
But not necessarily, as we find out, because sometimes
sometimes for the benefit of the movie it's not.
sometimes the cars behave, or
Yeah.
right in the end, I suppose they fuck off on a boat, and the
maybe-
boat doesn't want to fucking.
Maybe the car was still alive, but maybe, like you said, it was behaving. Maybe it was, to coin a phrase, a house car.
Oh,
Car is my slave name. My free name is Barry Stephen Fitzgerald.
very nice.
That would be a man with not too much hair on his head, right? But a lot of
But
hair on his
lot-
shoulders.
I was gonna say a lot of hair on his fucking chin. No, not his chin.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
he
okay.
has. He's got mutton chops.
Chins.
That guy.
Barry, so is that hairy guy?
You are dooming your child if you name it Barry.
I mean, what's Barry short for?
No, it's short for Barinda.
Barinda. Bav. So what? As we were saying, Emilio Estevez et al. Get into Barry Stephen Fitzgerald and make their getaway. Oh no, we've missed something.
They kind of get bogged down by eventually trucks, and they just like, oh, I guess it's the cars that are bad. But I mean, anything mechanical you can define on a very kind of micro level, like the hinge of a door, it can be like described as mechanical. There's no reason.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Winches, you know.
Yeah, so that's what
That's
I
a
thought was
mechanism.
I thought was quite interesting, seeing the drawbridge being the first thing that starts pissing around with people.
A ring pull. Is a ring pull mechanical? Sorry.
Oh,
A
yeah.
cock ring. Is a cock ring mechanical?
Maybe perhaps a vibrating one.
Right, okay. Well, definitely a vibrating one. But what about a nose ring that is attached to an earring with a chain?
I would classify that as jewelry. I think that's.
But jewelry can be mechanical.
You mean like watches and so forth? Yeah.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
no
I'm
watches
glad
fucking
you
around
went to
this movie.
watches, because I was going to go on about, like, if you had a filling that had a barometer in it. For a moment there, I had completely forgotten that watches exist.
Well, I'm glad I saved us from that tailspin.
Well, no, to be honest, it's fine, though, because even if fillings with barometers in them didn't exist, you could always tell what was going to happen to the immediate weather in terms of humidity by the hair on the ponies.
Which ponies of which you?
Well, any local ponies, their manes, if they're puffy, it's going to be humid, or not humid, one of those.
Did they mention the pony farm in the movie?
Pony farm. Sorry, what? The pony farm.
The pony farm.
Father!
You delicious bastard.
They do mention a pony farm, don't they? Or is
No!
that
That's
just
the fucking
something you
point.
accept?
You're too busy chasing those ponies.
They do mention something where, for a moment, you think, oh, is it going to go onto a farm where loads of tractors are running over cows or something? Yeah, for a moment, there was something teased in this movie where I thought, okay, it's going to get really bloody, but it never did.
Well, there was one glorious shot where things start going awry on children's baseball field. So it starts off with like the vending machine clubbing this dude in the skull with like a can of 7-Up or whatever, and then the climax of that scene is like, for some reason, opposite a children's playfield, there is a huge fuck-off steamroller which comes to life. And
Yeah.
and you've got this like little 8-year-old boy, and you think, "Oh, come on, no way." And this child has like no survival instincts whatsoever, and simply stands there as this thing mows it down. You get this glorious shot of it just being fucking leveled.
Yeah, no, but in fairness, it's on turf, right? And they always say, if you're on tarmac, get out there. But if you're on turf, the best thing to do is spread out as much as you can, so you take up as much surface area as possible, and then the steamroller will distribute all the weight, through you into the turf. It'll be fine.
I understand the physics. I understand the physics.
No. I know it sounds weird, but it's exactly like don't stand under a tree during a storm, right? Because the lightning, it'll be more pissed off that you're hiding from it, right? And then it'll use the tree against you. But if you're out in the open, like I don't care, lightning. I respect you, but I'm not going to hide from you. Then it'll just zap trees and pigs and stuff and ponies. You know, I used to live next to a place called Bar Pony.
Is this real?
Yeah. Do you know? I thought I took you to Bar Pony.
No, I think I would remember Bar Pony.
It was just a bar. It was just a shitty third world bar, but called Bar Pony.
So after the drawbridge, you've got.
Oh God, are we going to do it like this?
We're going to do it play by fuck.
After the petting zoo.
It was the only other thing that really piqued my interest in this movie, other than the child murder.
The drawbridge was good because there is no way the drawbridge deciding to open itself, even though there's traffic on it, there's no way that should have killed anyone, right?
And yet people were throwing themselves off this fucking drawbridge. I know they had the grocery truck, and they had, for whatever reason it was shipping loads of fucking watermelons, and they had those barreling down through windscreens. And I was really hoping for a nice gratuitous shot of something piling through a windscreen like that and just clubbing someone straight in the skull, taking their head clean off their shoulders. I'm afraid to say it didn't deliver on that.
Right. I mean, the kind of value in this movie, I guess, is the funny deaths, and there are really not many. Like there's the steamroller one. There's the baseball coach getting clubbed in the head with a full can of cola, and that's kind of it. Yeah, the wound on his forehead was pretty grim. The what? The wound on his forehead, when you see it, was, you got a very clear rim where it's obviously the way it's connected. It's like head on. I thought that was quite a nice touch. That was good because it wasn't particularly gratuitous, but it was. I mean, I don't know what it would actually look like, but it felt very much like, that guy looks like he's been badly hurt by a can full of soda. Like, you know,
yeah, I mean,
it wasn't over the top, was it? You know,
no, it was. I imagine if you were pelted with something with that kind of force, you would do what he did, which was drop to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
That kind of made my skin crawl a little bit because it looked like what in my mind is like a realistic wound. Like you say, it's not gratuitous, but it went through me.
What did you think about the Stephen King cameo? I bet you didn't even see it, did you?
I didn't fucking see that. No.
It was what point? It was the first scene. It was the very first scene. The first person we see, Stephen King walks up to an ATM, and he's got these glasses on where the visors are retractable, like pink visors.
Oh yeah.
And he goes up. He goes, "What?" and takes these visors off, and then it's a shot of an ATM, and it's just you asshole, you asshole, you asshole ad infinitum on this fucking ATM.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't realize that was Stephen King.
It's a fucking amazing cameo. It's one of the funniest. It genuinely is. I think it's a great cameo. It's not self-indulgent. It's just funny, you know.
Yes, Well, I missed that because I'm only familiar with Stephen King and his current visage as essentially the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, well, his nose never changed.
As a younger man, I didn't recognize him. I got to be honest. So that one slipped straight past me, which is a shame. Now in hindsight, that makes a lot more fucking sense, particularly as a comedic beat.
Yeah,
potentially one of the few jokes in this movie, this horror comedy.
Yes. Well, what's the other joke?
Don't hold me to bear for that one.
I guess trucks come alive.
the movie itself is the joke. The production.
Well, kind of. I mean, you know, it's what I like about it is they clearly know, like, this is nuts, and we're making a movie on $500,000 because if we get it screened at 300 cinemas, we're going to make our money back easily. So we're just doing some coke and doing this in between Stephen writing some more shit, I guess, and everyone else fucking off to do whatever they do. Isn't it like that? And I like it because of that.
Okay.
It's not got any ideas above its station. It doesn't think it's clever. I don't think it thinks it's witty even. I think it's just, ha-ha! Trucks come alive.
So he was writing it on the way en route to the set. They had no idea what was going on. They just had the location.
En route to the set, but on week 2.
They've all been sat there pitching tents for a long fucking time. No one is happy. Which explains why they all look fucking miserable throughout the movie.
I guess it's because they're too stupid to realise that you could just shoot the fucking tyres out of all these trucks and be done with it. Because they've got guns from the start. They've got guns. They've got a rocket launcher. There's no peril at all.
Guns which are also mechanical, which...
Yes,
why the
I know,
movie is-
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Right? Yeah. I mean, they fucking established right at the beginning that a meat carver, like an electric turkey knife, that has a mind of its own.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was one thing that kind of thought, okay, so this is more. We can expect more of this as the movie goes on. So it can be just anything.
Everything, yeah.
That's like, okay, so you got the cash points giving that dude grief, chewing his cars up and his money, all that fuck, and then you've got the drawbridge. That's interesting, and then you got the turkey knife. That's good. That's good and schlocky. And then after that, trucks. When I was looking up this movie,
Damien, when you think about it, if everything mechanical in the world came alive, what would naturally be at the top of that pecking order? Trucks. Trucks. And they can fucking speak English. Or they can write English.
or they can understand English sometimes, but not all the time.
They can hear stuff.
I don't understand because when you had
and they adjust their own mirrors because they look through their mirrors.
Yeah, it's a big mess. This movie. Emilio Estevez.
It's not a big mess. It's a little mess.
It's
a mess, but it's not big.
It's a little mess on the edge of the carpet there.
You can't tell me anyone gave Stephen King and the production team money and expected anything to come back that was beyond this. Seriously, I think when he came back with a fucking movie that was cut together, I think they were like, I'm pretty pleased. If this makes no money, I'm still, you did it.
If this is vaguely coherent, we're, we come out, on top.
Stephen, you didn't just wake up in a hotel room in Las Vegas 5 weeks later. Well done.
You got a little shit under your nose there. Just you might want to wipe that up. There's a lot of blood.
You've got a little shit under your nose there, which is probably worth like $300 right there.
We paid for that, didn't we? Fuck's sake.
Is that why this film has no story, Stephen King? Because you could.
Stephen, look at me. No.
No, Stephen. Stephen, typewriter. Go get it.
Stephen starts peeling backwards up the walls like a fucking spider.
He just writes what he knows.
It's foaming at the mouth.
What most people don't realise is we've only ever seen about 5% of everything Stephen King's ever written. Like, he writes a good kind of 20 to 30 pages a day.
As a rule.
Yeah.
For starters, for breakfast.
Yeah. Before reading the phone book.
Ugh.
No, yeah. I don't know, maybe they cut the jokes out or something.
We don't want this movie to be too interesting. Let's fucking dial it back.
The people who are watching this are also going to be extremely, extremely energized as well. So, we don't want to put them over the edge. Over the edge.
We'll have a whole movie theater filled with fucking Stephen King's fucking crawling up the fucking walls. We can't have that.
That'd be amazing. One Stephen King for every year. Right at the back, there's the baby Stephen Kings.
I don't want to imagine that.
Imagine the trouble they'd get up to.
Such hijinks. What lucks.
Imagine if it was a cinema full of Stephen Kings and they were surrounded by 18-wheeler trucks going around and around and around and being like... It is a bizarre idea for your villain, isn't it? These big trucks. And a big truck with a goblin mask on it.
Yeah, which they don't include on any the promotional materials because I imagine someone said that looks too much like fucking what's his tits from Spider-Man. We can't do that. We can have it in the movie, sure. Its eyes glow red, which it doesn't do in Spider-Man, but it does in the movie, so it's different, but not on the box art, please.
And that reminds me, next week, the Boondock Saints.
I'd watch that. Fuck yeah.
What?
What is it? I can't remember what his fucking name is now.
What does he look like? Does he look really tired and a bit dirty? Does he look
tired
like
and dirty?
Does he look like he works on an offshore oil rig? And he'd probably scrub up a bit nice, but He's not scrubbing up nice right now. He's just got back. He's come to the diner to see you before he goes back home to have his shower. Isn't that nice? You love him, but you don't see him enough. It's Norman Reedus.
No, I was thinking of Willem Dafoe. I couldn't get the fucking name.
Well, you could have just said he looks like Willem Dafoe then, couldn't you?
I was trying to. I was fucking trying to. I couldn't, for the life of me, I couldn't remember the fucking name. I was looking at, I just had the picture of him up, but I couldn't fucking find it. My mind is going.
Willem Dafoe looks like the sort of person who is the first person to greet you in the afterlife and say, "You're in hell, but it's not that bad."
Shakes your hand.
Yeah, shakes your hand and he's like, "Welcome to management."
Presented with a platter of fine cheeses. No, not fine cheeses. No, like horrible, shitty, cheesy cheese singles.
It's horrible. Yeah, it's still shit. It's still hell. No, you're still gonna get, you're still gonna get food in plastic wrappers and things. But
oh yeah, it's sustenance. You've got your work cut out for you. They're gonna look after you to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, you're not one of the shit eaters. I mean, you are, but not one of the shit eaters.
Yeah. That's if you really fuck it up.
Yeah.
There's always room to fuck it up.
That's right. And then you end up as the social media manager for a company.
That's very funny. That's very funny for me.
If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, that's because what I say is very baffling. And often troubling.
And often bullshit.
Yeah.
I will say there were some interesting faces that popped up in this movie, which I wasn't expecting.
Emilio Estevez.
King.
Stephen King. That woman who could be 40 or 16. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Before, she had that role she would invariably be enslaved to for the next 30 years of her life. Potentially more. Until she dies.
Is it Nanny G?
Nanny G? What the fuck are you talking about, Nanny G?
Did you hear how he said that, everybody? Say it again.
Say
Nanny
G.
Nanny G.
Nanny G? No. Was it Yeardley Smurth? I wasn't expecting to see her in this.
Oh. And she's in The Simpsons.
She is.
As Smithers.
And the other one, the other one as well, which was kind of interesting because it's only in for like 20 seconds when the cigarette machines and the pinball machines start like spinning out all these packets of cigarettes and all this money. You've got this one guy who I guess was supposed to be like the plucky black thief in and amongst the establishment, but that's it's Giancarlo Esposito, which
Alexa, play Despacito. What?
It's Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
I don't remember him in there.
Yeah, he's in there for 20 seconds, and I looked it up because I thought maybe I saw wrong. Maybe it's just maybe I got my lines crossed. But no, it's the same guy, albeit much younger. And yeah, it's weird because I mean, of all the people in this movie, I mean, I would say like he's got like currently the biggest fucking clout, and he's only in for like 20 fucking seconds. I don't know how that is. Maybe I don't know what the state of his career was, or if he was being harangued in. It's like, I'll only do this one fucking shot, all right? But yeah, he's the guy that just like sweeps up the packets of cigarettes on the floor and fucks off, and you never see him again.
You know who else is in there?
Go on.
Gene Hartline.
Gene Hartline?
Phil Adams.
You're just reading the cast list now, right?
You're
making names up.
No, these are real names. Christopher Murney.
But these are real names, but they don't correlate with the movie in any way, shape, or form.
These are certainly names. J.C. Quinn. J.C. Quinn. Medicine Man. Yeah, having looked up Yeardley Smith now, IMDb has her known for The Simpsons, The Simpsons movie, and Maximum Overdrive.
You said that what was IMDb?
Yes.
I want to have a look and see for myself.
Well, I think actually it's just called IMD. Database being one word.
All right, I can confirm that what you're saying is, for once, is not entirely bullshit. Well done.
No, but internet is definitely two. IND. I mean INMD.
I am on MD.com.
INMD. That's what IMDb. It should be called INMD. Look it up on INMD. See, it rolls off the fucking tongue better as well.
I agree. I'm gonna posit an idea here, and I want to see how you feel about this.
How dare you?
No, seriously, hear me out. I think we should never do these ever again. How about you?
I mean, I've been saying this for a while,
but I'm the one that puts my foot down. It's like, no, this is my only outlet to the public. I must.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, I guess we'll never do these ever again then.
So that's it. We'll just tie off right now. No goodbyes, nothing. That's it. Just click done.
I'm deleting it all now, meaning recording the rest is pointless.
It's benign.
It's
It's redundant.
Yeah, it is. What did you think of Emilio Estevez, though?
I thought he was completely fucking dead in this movie.
He's like that all the time, isn't he?
I don't know. I seem to remember he was slightly more engaging in The Breakfast Club.
Oh, I don't know. I think he was always been pretty kind of dead and straight, right? Like, Charlie got all the fucking personality and all the excitement, and Emilio Estevez got the ability to wear a condom. Kind of worked out.
He was playing the long game there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, for all I know,
Emilio Estevez has AIDS as well. We don't know. Maybe he's just a bit more.
Maybe. What I was going to say was maybe Charlie Sheen. Maybe he was doing intravenous drugs with someone who had AIDS. But then I realised, silly me, that's a value judgment. Maybe he chose AIDS. Maybe he didn't choose AIDS. Maybe he was born that way.
Well, he's had a fucking good run if that's the case.
Yeah, right?
He's
done all right. He's only 23, though.
Even so, for an AIDS baby, I think it's for everything that he has achieved, debauchery aside, I think for an AIDS baby, I think we could call him a role model. I mean, he's had a lot of success.
Yeah.
In spite of what is a very debilitating illness. So you know what? Power to him. Fuck Emilio Estevez. He has not tried hard enough. He hasn't had the same obstacles to overcome like Charlie Sheen has. Charlie Sheen has fucking nailed it.
Despite the incredible poor quality of this podcast, you can leave knowing today you weren't born with AIDS. So things aren't that bad.
You can leave at any point. You can leave without notice. It's absolutely fine. You're not beholden to listen to any of this, let alone up to a certain point.
Go to patreon.com. Do we have anything else to say about this movie?
Did I have anything else to say to this movie?
Did you have anything to say about this movie, I mean? Did we talk about the movie?
I didn't think I had anything to say about this movie to begin with.
I protested my inclusion on this podcast, George.
Which is how the conversation goes, prior to recording every week. But it falls on deaf ears.
I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do this.
I mean, the fact that we say that we do this, and
I'm there with twiddling my mustache, going, "I must have the audio, Damien."
It's nowhere near as
I must have the audio. No, it's
congenial as that.
It's horrible, yeah. Like, you fucking yes, you fucking will. Your skin's like fucking leather. Yes, it's like that, isn't it?
It's exactly like that, and I'm being constantly fucking lashed. So it's a fucking wonderful job on the editing, getting the screams and the cracks of the fucking whip out. It's very good. I mean,
I'm walking around. Basically, I'm walking with my thighs, right? If you know what that means, I'm walking with my thighs between Damien and his girlfriend. I'm going up to Damien's girlfriend. I'm going, "You're hot. Fuck you. Your skin's like leather. Fuck you, Damien. Yes. No. Yes." It's just that. There's no conversation.
There isn't even eye contact. For the most of the time, you're staring straight into the corner of a wall.
No, I've got those glasses on that you would wear if you were having a fun time in a sunbed.
Oh,
sunbed.
Or wanking in a sunbed, or
ooh, that sounds really dangerous.
Sunbirds in general, I think very much are.
Especially wanking in one. Wouldn't that be more? That would be dangerous, wouldn't it? You'd have like a really weird suntan after that.
Oh, so right, like so.
It would be like a hot dog, wouldn't it? You know, because it'd be white, and then you'd have these two brown ends.
Well, I imagine, right, if you tan
And all this hair.
Well, if you tan your erect cock, right, and then it obviously goes flaccid afterwards, all that kind of like the tan skin kind of gets bunched up, right? So I imagine afterwards, when you're done and it's limp, it must go like an incredible color, much darker than you ever thought fucking possible, right?
Or maybe it's just got rings, like tan rings where the tan is concentrated.
It's just white in the middle where your hand's been gripping it fucking intently.
But if you tan your flaccid cock when it gets erect, it'll be the opposite. It'll be like a White House then.
Just like
a White House. It'll be like a lighthouse. Do you know what I mean?
No, explain more thoroughly.
Well, it'll be the shape of a cock, and then it'll be white, red, and white.
Oh.
Well, not red, maybe. Hopefully.
Okay, I kind of understand. It's a horrible, horrible fucking image.
With a bell shape at the end. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that feels like it's made out of glass.
Okay, so next week when you turn up to do the podcast, if you wheel in a fucking sunbed, out the fucking door. No way. No fucking way.
So next week, if you're gonna tan your erect cock, more advice on that.
We'll give you step-by-step guide. The do's and do not do's of wanking in sunbeds.
You'd have to go in erect already, right? Because I think those sunbeds come very close to you. There isn't a lot of wiggle room, is there?
So are we talking about one of those kind of upstanding ones, or is it one of the sunbeds?
Yeah, like one you lay in.
Right, okay. I suppose, I don't know, I've never been in one of those.
Have you not?
I don't know, I have.
But your dad owns 3.
He does, but those are the ones, like the upstanding ones that he has, yeah, so what he'll do
I'm
is
only
he'll
interested in a sunbed, Squire, if it's an upstanding sunbed. No taxation without fair representation.
That's a fucking good impression.
It is. He's always doing
It's weird
that.
because you haven't seen my dad in years. So the fact that you've remembered his voice so fucking clearly after all that time that's quite remarkable.
And I won't have anything said about Jack the Rat either. He's a pet to me, Damien. A pet, and he's welcome any time.
He calls him son now.
And another thing, Damien, stop putting all the mail on the. What piece of furniture would your dad own? Stop putting all the mail on the Chesterfield, Damien. I've just varnished that Chesterfield, Damien. Put it on the mail stand. Why do you think I've got 3 of them? By the chess set.
Oh no.
By the brass telescope, Damien.
I'm thinking he's got like a roller desk now. He does a lot of
A roller desk?
Yeah, something like that.
I thought you said something much cooler then.
My dad's got a pair of roller skates. He's fucking slamming.
I think my dad owns the premier roller disco, the North.
Well, that is a much more interesting story if were true. No, my dad seems to buy redundant office furniture, even though he has no interest in a home office.
And is it sold as redundant? Is that part of the marketing?
I think the people that are stocking it and trying to get rid of it appreciate it as redundant, but it's not listed as redundant. No, they see him coming a mile off. It's like you can store all your stuff in it, you know.
No. But I'm not understanding what you mean by redundant. Do you mean that it used to belong to someone and they now have no need for it?
No. I think it's a desk that's in full operational order. It's just that my dad has no need for any of like the features and the design. It's just something that simply sits and gathers dust.
But is it new?
Oh no, it'd be an old. It's previously owned shit.
Right. Okay. I understand.
He had like 3 different gramophones or something at one point. Not one of them fucking worked. He's just like, oh yeah, but they cost fuck all. How much did you spend on it? They cost fuck all, David. How much did you spend on it?
For the amount of metal, Damien. The amount of metal in these. I mean, you could weld a battleship with one of these, Damien.
Look, that's Sheffield steel. That's Sheffield steel. That's worth something.
Spanish steel. Sheffield. Yes, that's Sheffield.
Oh, so what? Are you going to melt it down and then recast it or anything like that?
Yes,
No!
yes, I am, Davian. Yes, I may well do that. I may keep it around as an objet de jour.
This is why I love the rats more than you. The rats don't shit on me. I mean, they shit on my kitchen
I mean, they do.
countertop, but they don't
I mean,
shit on me.
I mean, what could you play on them?
Well, I presumably old like vinyl, but they just there's nothing that works inside them internally at all.
I just like the idea of your dad playing "Give It Away Now," like with a crank gramophone.
One of them does have a crank, yes.
Give it away, give it away. Instantly, it sounds like it was recorded 100 years ago. Instead of bass, they've got a harpsichord. Give it away,
So
give it away,
rather than
give
just
it away,
like
give it away, Humphrey. Give it away, give it away, give it away, Giles. It's like, that's what it is.
It's a complete reimagining of the album. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's like a time machine that only makes modern media into sort of old-fashioned cliches of themselves. It's pretty worthless.
No, I imagine it's just a project that my dad's been, keeping very close to the chest for the last 20 years. He's only managed the one single so far, but he has these grand designs to do the entire Blood Sugar Sex Magic album. He's doing the hits first, because he's thinking ahead. He can draw people in with Give It Away, and once he's got the funding, he can fucking plow on with the rest of it.
Just wait until somebody puts something 8-bit into it. That's going to destroy the world.
I think my dad turns his nose up at stuff like that. And he thinks that's gauche. That's not going to be it. If it doesn't have clawhammer banjo in it, he's got no time for it.
Would this film have been better with dubstep or not? It would have been.
No, I thought this.
Or if the trucks had come
so?
alive. I don't know. I just associate Transformers with dubstep now. Autobots, roll out! That's when I stopped listening
and
to
Inspector
dubstep.
Gadget as well.
And Inspector Gadget, yeah. Well, anything else to say about Maximum Overdrive?
The score was interesting, I suppose. I guess the brief that they get. They gave the the composer, for lack of a better term, when they weren't just lifting AC/DC, was Psycho. You got that big crescendo with the strings that everyone knows. Yeah, can you do that on an electric guitar, just twice for the movie? That'd be amazing.
What did that go like? Because I didn't listen to the music. I watched it on mute.
Oh well, there you go.
And playing Hitman.
You would think
Absolution.
it was just a noise that went. It was obviously aping fucking Psycho, but it was just done. It was just done with fucking 80s fucking.
Yeah, it's amazing how I can elicit that response.
It's all the careful conditioning over 20 years.
It is, isn't it? I mean, that's we must have spent days of our lives doing that noise.
And nothing else. For
Buttering.
That was hours. And we spent the better part of that evening simply singing that.
Singing can't really. Chanting is a more appropriate word, I think.
Yeah, okay. I'm reaching for something, but I can't really find it. But I think that's probably the most apt explanation, yeah. There were no other highlights in the movie for me.
One of the things that I did before I watched this movie was I watched the trailer. I think it was on Amazon, so I just watched it, and it sparked me into watching other trailers, and then I ended up looking for a trailer to a film that hasn't come out yet, and I found something on YouTube where it said the name of this film, trailer, announcement, and I clicked on it. It was about 3 minutes long, and I clicked on it, and it was just a picture of the movie's poster, and the whole video was just saying, there's going to be a trailer for this movie, and this video is announcing that there is going to be a trailer for this movie, and and that trailer is coming out tonight. And I couldn't fucking believe that it's come to this.
That's fair enough. I've seen shit like that, and it's.
I've never seen that before. Is that
really?
No, I've never seen that before. Is that common?
Yeah, I've seen like countdowns for shit like that.
Okay. Usually when I see new films, it's in Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or something. I don't usually bother to look for the trailer unless I'm going to talk about the film. So I had no idea people were doing this, and that's like why bother? It's an advert for an advert for what is more and more often an advert.
Yeah, but they know full well that there are people that are just going to lap it right the fuck up, and I'm it seems to work. I'm sure if you looked at the
but what I should say is this announcement wasn't from the studio. It was a
okay.
YouTuber, and there were other ones. There were other YouTubers, and like small ones. I guess I never heard of them. And they were all doing this for the same movie.
See, that's I haven't come across that. That's fucking pathetic.
Well, there was some sort of discussion about Maximum Overdrive. Next week, the Boondock Saints.
We mention it by name. I think we can say we did that.
Maximum Overdrive.
All right, see you next week. Boondock Saints.
You're not even allowed to say goodbye now, Damien. You fucked it up.
You don't have anything else to say, you said.
All right. You got me on that one. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll go back to my fucking
So
corner.
we already decided that as soon as we stop recording, I'm going to delete the channel.
Oh yeah, of course. So I don't know why I'm worrying so much.
It's not like, it's been on the internet for all this time that people can just download it or anything.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Who's downloading this, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, I know, right?
Shame on them.
I like to smoke some weed and get off my tits when I go on my run. It's when I catch up on my podcasts. the Scientist Today podcast. The films that are coming out next year that I may be interested in podcast, and some absolute utter run-off bullshit. Noises down the microphone in the movie. All right, thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, and stop.
It won't stop. What have I done? It's Maximum Overdrive.